And remember the last time we saw Bronny, he got that call up, and J.J. Redick said it was kind of unfair to him to fly him in the day before the game, even though the team flew in the night before the game and played a game that day, and said he put him in a bad spot, and he obviously didn't play very well and made some other excuses for him. Well, Bronny got back in last night. Now, keep in mind, it's a 40-point game. 40-point game. And he did score 1 bucket on 5 attempts, and here was the reaction from the crowd.
Bronny, here he goes, and count it!
Listen to the crowd. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. That time he did get the defender to rush at him, and good absorbing the contact and keeping your concentration on the target. That's a real nice play by Bronny.
Here's what's going to happen, Jay Stu. I'll say something, people go like, your team's lost 18 in a row. They have. I will say that my assistant coaches, when I said this summer, I don't know if he'd start for me. He'd start for me, right? But he's not better than Anthony Roy. He's just not. But like, what are we actually doing here? Like, I've never seen this. Maybe I have seen the NBA. This is the way it used to be, right? You used to have that one guy on the end of the bench who would sit there and wave the towel and occasionally get in. And it was like the NBA's version of a walk-on. Now, I will tell you that there's one guy who I know like that, who is a great college player and ended up being a good starter in the NBA. Scotty Brooks was like that with the Philadelphia 76ers for a long time. Now, Scotty had to grind to make it to the NBA. Finally made it with both first the Sixers, then the Rockets. You know, he actually got some chance to start. People don't remember, Scotty Brooks averaged 25 a game at UC Irvine. You think he went to TCU at first, transferred. He's from Sacramento originally. But what do you think the standing ovation, which I'm not sure it was a standing ovation, but people were cheering, what do you think that was about?
Well, between the standing ovation, the chants of MVP by the road crowd, and then this very patronizing part by the analyst at the end.
That's a real nice play by Bronny.
It's like that's what you say to like I don't know, like a third grader in his like pee-wee basketball camp. Like everyone just seems to be rooting for this little thing that could, little boy that could, and I don't. It just seems so patronizing.
It is, and I don't know. Are we supposed to feel sympathy for him? Are we supposed to feel good for him? Are we supposed to give honest analysis? Like, it's just such an awkward place for us to be in. Like, this is an NBA team. I actually would get it if it was the Wizards. You're 6-40. You need some reason for people to come to the game, right? Some guy who just wants it really, really bad. Maybe he's not that talented, but he wants it really, really bad. I mean, look, that's where we are. We're going to win games eventually. Okay, we're going to get healthy. We're going to win some games. Okay, but I do understand that when you're not winning games, you want guys that are out there just playing their lower intestines off. That's reasonable. But the LA Lakers have won 17 NBA titles. In the rafters, when you go to Staples, are some of the most gigantic, outside of Larry Bird, outside of Michael Jordan, outside of, you go to like 3 or 4 other names, right? 3 or 4 other names. In the history of the sport, they've all played for the Lakers. You're talking about Jerry West, who's the logo, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James. So, like Kareem and LeBron, you're talking about the two greatest scorers in the history of the NBA. Jerry West is the logo of the NBA. Magic Johnson is in any actual conversation of anybody who knows anything about the sport. You want to do a litmus test for somebody who's like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about? They would say, greatest players of all time. You better put Michael Jordan on that list. So you better put Magic Johnson on that list. And you got Kobe Bryant, too. He was pretty good. Shaquille O'Neal, he was pretty good. Right? So Elgin Baylor, Gail Goodrich, James Worthy, Michael Cooper. Like, you got the greats of all times. You got 17 NBA titles. And you basically have a walk-on, the best player's kid playing for the team. That feels like Washington Wizards stuff, doesn't it? I dreamt my entire life of getting one game in the NBA with my name across the back of the jersey. And I'll tell you, it's a drug, man. You go, and I was at the Summer League with the Lakers one year, and you walk into their offices, and by like the second or third day, everybody knows your name. They treat you so kindly. You get any sports massage you want. You work out, whatever. You're on the Summer League team. There's a big roster, but they treat you like you're a Laker. They're awesome. And you're walking down the hall, and you see Kareem, and you see Gail Goodrich and Jerry West and Kobe Bryant pictures and Magic Johnson pictures and Byron Scott and Sadeo Threet and Vlade Divac. And then you go back and you see, Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor. And you're like, oh my, what am I doing here? And you realize, like, this place is different. This is the LA Lakers. And then in their practice facility, you look up and back then it was, Mitch Kupchak's office had all of the trophies that they had won in the window of the office, which overlooking, like, that's what we play for. And now you have this, which is, frankly, being patronized. People standing up and chanting MVP. Like, it's a punchline to a joke, and it sucks for the kid. And, like, look, I get it. I'm a dad. My son's struggling in hoops. He's a late bloomer. He's, there's some motivation stuff that you want. Like, you want the world for him. But forcing it is just... And you can be a great dad. This is not taking away from, like, people say, well, he's a great dad. He's never been in trouble. He's always there for his son. He is. Those are wonderful attributes. But, like, as a sports parent, he's forcing his way on an NBA roster and played him in the first half against Philadelphia. And I do think that Bronny, this is a lot like my situation. It's going to make him or break him as a human being, as a basketball player. But it is not the optics that anyone outside of that sphere would want to have.
That's a real nice play by Bronny.
That's a real nice play by Bronny. Oh my gosh, he can make a layup in traffic.
Yay.